All right, everybody, this is an exciting one. While everybody was daydreaming about the new Helix Stadium, Line 6 secretly came out with the new CL Powercab, which I am fortunate enough to be one of the first people to have one. So I want to thank Line 6 upfront for sponsoring this video, sending this out to me, and trusting me with being one of the first looks. Oh, and by the way, this sweatshirt and these t-shirts, everybody keeps asking me in all my Helix videos where I got this from. These were designed by a company for a short period of time. They were helping Line 6 with their marketing, and they no longer make these. But if you want Line 6 to get back to making these, put it in the comments and let them know so that they start making this, because I got a hoodie, I got a t-shirt version of it. These shirts are awesome. So if you want one, write in the comments that Line 6 should bring these back. So I've got it here. This is the 212 version. You all have seen the specs on this by now. I could put links to it below if you guys want to check it out at any of the local, any of your favorite retailers. They've all got them. So basically what we've got here is a actual guitar friendly version of the Powercab. And what I mean by guitar friendly is that it's only designed for guitar. I'm sure you could put vocals and stuff through this, but this is marketed as a guitar cabinet exclusively. So again, like I said, open back, designed with real guitar speakers. And there's going to be a quick explanation of what it does. Really doesn't do a ton, which is exactly the way I like it. So you have a 3-band EQ on the top that obviously can EQ things. And then you have a knob on the side here that picks the speaker model, which is super simple. On the back, you have 2 modes. Again, really easy. You have the full EQ version, which means that it's no cabinet simulation going in. You have the power amp in, which means full modeled signal going into this and being amplified on stage. So there's 2 ways to use it, obviously, with or without speaker simulation. You also have an IR loader built in, so you can have an IR in here and you can go XLR to front of house. That is absolutely not the way I'm going to use it. So I want to focus this video on different ways that I would actually use this, which I think I've got some pretty cool ideas here. What you're going to see in this video, I've got my whole amp rig, all these amps, go through my KHE amp switcher and up into my 2 notes reactive load. And it loads them all down, also sending a signal to that Black Star cabinet, while also sending a signal to the Powercab CL. So I can essentially and absolutely send a signal to either the cabinet, the real cabinet in the room, the real guitar speaker cabinet, and or the Line 6 Powercab CL. I've got a preset up here in HX Edit because I could not do this without the help of HX Edit. So I have one preset that is modeler straight to the cabinet. So this works with either setup where I can use a modeled amp, go into the real cabinet, or the modeled amp going into the Powercab CL. These presets I used, like this is the Legacy Larry, this is all the M9 effects that I made that video about. If you haven't seen it, check it out. And if it is your first time here, I do all things digital amp modeling on this channel. And according to analytics, 80% of my views come from people who are not subscribed. So if it's your thing, consider doing that. So let's get to it. We've got a lot of options and a lot of different tones to explore. How are you going to hear this? I thought about this for a while, and I really have no good answer for what's going to sound best to judge how this sounds in a room, because this is the goal. We want amp in the room. We want that sound in this package, easier to carry, no external power amp needed. So a lot of people complain about, is there a need for this product? And I definitely think so, because if I were to take my real amps, I would need the load box, I would need a power amp, and I would need the cabinet. This is kind of all of that in one without the load box. So we just need amp, load box, and this bad boy. And if it can sound as good as a speaker cabinet, it's much lighter and it's cool. You can EQ it to the room. You can't EQ a real guitar cabinet to the room. So how are you going to hear this? How do I quantify amp in the room for you at home? So what I've got, camera 2 is a microphone, a Sennheiser microphone right on top. So you will hear this microphone that's basically splitting the 2 cabinets in half. All right, so first up, I've got a little 63 spring reverb going on here. And to match that, I'm going to be going through my 63 Bassman. And that is going into the Powercab CL at the moment. and I'm using my Nags Kenai. So I'm going to turn this off. And now this is the real cab. I actually got to turn the real cab up quite a bit. Let's go neck pickup. Back to CL. So I'm on the greenback speaker on the CL. Just going to double check that. Yeah. So I'm in the greenback speaker, which I guess it's more V30. So let's go to V30, which is vintage. So the CL has a ton more low end. I don't know if that's a cabinet characteristic or because that's a vertical, this is horizontal. Am I going for exact sounds? No, I'm just going kind of for feel. But I do have the low end knob here so that, I don't know if that's coming out on camera, that's substantial. So I'm just going to drop out that low end about a quarter. Go back to this. I think I've got the CL a little bit louder, but that's okay. A little bit closer, more in the ballpark with that low end, I think. Basically, I just don't want things to rattle. You know, when like you hit your low string, getting no rattle there. Whereas if it's at noon, start getting things rattling around. So I've got it about 9 o'clock. Nice. And now I'm going to go to the KHE amp switcher. Let's go to the Sir SL67. Handle a little bit more crunch. For this, I'm going to go back to that greenback. That sounds pretty sick. The CL is a lot louder. These are both 200-watt solid-state power amps, the Reload and this. And the CL I've got like on a quarter. That's awesome. Let's go back to the vintage. I mean, that's pretty sweet. All right, here's the SLO 30. Back to the greenback. See all way loud. So with the more gain, the cab seems to be very much tighter, the real cab. Let's see if I can match that with the CL. Yeah, so I bumped the mids and I dropped the lows a little bit to make it kind of a little tighter. Back to the real amp. Here's both of them at the same time. That's fun. All right, so that was just fumbling around here with some real amps. So far, I think it very much holds its own. I would say maybe as we get to the higher gain settings, it took a little bit finessing with the EQ, but literally took 2 seconds for me to dial out the lows, bump up the mids. And I think I got a pretty accurate representation of what this thing can do. Actually, before we go, let's go to the other preset here that I've got called HX to reload. And we can throw a bunch of amps that I don't have into here. Let's say we want to do the Tweed Blues Bright. And for this, we're going to want to go to the Jarvis model. My God, this is so loud in the room. So here's your Jarvis with the Tweed Blues Bright. This is just stock settings from HX Edit from HX XL. still a lot of low end. Let's compare that to the real. Real cab now suddenly has a little bit more high end, a little bit more crispy. I think the modeler sounds better through this. The real cab's getting, like I said, a little crispy there. Let's do another. While we're on Jarvis, let's go to the Deluxe, just stock settings again. There's that low one. And that's just a room thing. That's probably nothing. So right now they sound pretty much identical, I think. I mean, both will get the job done, obviously. Before we go, what other speaker? Let's do Essex. Let's get an AC30 going before we leave. That's loud. Again, I'm on a quarter and I'm definitely doing some damage. Real cat. Yeah, that's probably just a speaker choice thing. Essex in this thing. This thing sounds awesome. Okay. I think I'm sold. This is how I would run it, essentially. Like, yeah, you can send it the full signal and then dupe it to front of house. But what I would do if I'm a Helix user or anybody else, I'm going to put a send before my cabinet. And I'm going to do it this way no matter what, just because it's easier for my preset workflow, is I'll put a send before the cabinet and have that go, or somehow bypass the cabinet. And I'll always take my XLR from my floorboard, whichever floorboard it is. If it's Helix, for example, like I could just put that send block in there and that's all I would need to do. And I can put a cabinet after that. And then from the output, go to front of house from my floorboard. So that just because of the way that we travel and sometimes we have fly dates, I don't have to worry about what if I don't have this, or make a separate preset, one with it, one without it. I would just rather not do that. And I'd rather stick with the same output that I'm used to night after night. But yeah, there's no reason you can't use the IR output of this. It's just not something that I'm going to do. And yeah, wow. Let me know what you think of this thing, because I hope it sounds good on the tape, because in the room, this thing was kicking, and I'm really happy with how it sounds. Let me know what you think. Made it this far. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.